for the time being, bring you up to speed with the 54-hour deadline for the scheduled randwater cuts across the Gauteng province now officially expired. The water pressure at a major district hospital in Vereeniging, that's the Kopanong district municipality, is at 100%. Now, Vereeniging, which is where the major maintenance and upgrading of the pipelines feeding into the Gauteng works has been conducted, and that's where we find Newsroom Afrika's senior reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli. Tumaole, very good morning to you. So Kopanong Hospital, I assume it would have been affected by this maintenance on the water pipes. What's the situation there? I see we could possibly be at 100% capacity right now. That assumes that randwater is indeed keeping to its promise of the midday deadline that will be met in order for water to be restored.
Well, Toli, if the feedback that I received from the hospital's acting CEO, Dr. Mabena, has anything to go by, certainly it seems as if Randwater has kept to its assurances and kept to its word that 100% water supply would have been returned, certainly to key facilities, including the Kopanong Hospital here, by the deadline of when it was supposed to have finished the maintenance work on those particular pipelines. I can tell you that earlier I spoke to Steve Mabena, and he was the site spokesperson, and he said that basically the work has been finalized. It's just a few touches here and there, and to test the water pressure to see that the welding and inserting of that big valve has gone according to plan, but it seems like it certainly has. Now, Dr. Mabena, the CEO here, took me also through the facility, and he opened the taps, and we spoke to staff. Unfortunately, our cameras weren't allowed in because for a facility like this to get access, we have to get permission from provincial and perhaps even national health department. But he was forthcoming, the acting CEO, and from what I saw for myself, it's all systems go, and the screening processes as well. People are screened properly, and you can wash your hands. So it seems that if those disruptions that had been experienced in pockets from here to here due to water pressure levels certainly aren't being experienced here at this major hospital, Koli.
All right, Tumaole, so I take it therefore that call it the precautionary measure that Randwater was speaking about, to say if there are going to be any delays, that might be 1 to 3 hours, that basically falls away.
Well, Koli, from where I'm standing, it certainly looks like it falls away, because the precautionary measures would have included tankers, water tankers, to be brought on site as emergency backup supplies, as well as you would hear generators, or would have seen generators connected to such large water tankers to provide supply. Those certainly I have not seen on site here, and according to the hospital CEO, it's not necessary, because as of this morning already, water pressure was sufficient. Now, this hospital is key because it also serves as a major referral hospital for the region. By the region, I mean that if there are many complicated cases, including, serious, severe accidents where people have to be airlifted to a facility to get emergency treatment, this is the facility they would come to. And everything has been going well, according to the feedback I got from the CEO. In fact, the CEO has given his assurance that he will get clearance, and at least by Friday. I don't know how relevant Friday would be. He's just giving himself some time to ensure that all the various checkpoints and the various dots are ticked and T's crossed, so to speak, to get the permission to give feedback as to what happened in the lead up to the water, shutdown of the water, or the planned shutdown of the water, and the disruptions, if any, and what happened when the full water returned. So this is information that we would be curious about, but from where we stand, certainly he says it's all systems going. From what I saw for myself, although it was a quick tour of the various wards that I'm allowed into. Of course, we didn't go into areas like ICU and other areas that are restricted, but generally casting a general overview across the facility, everything seemed okay.
Yeah, well, talking about the I's that ought to be dotted, Tumaole, and the T's that should be crossed, at least Gauteng, it would be safe to assume that we are on safe ground now, at least for a couple of years, given these new pipes and valves that have been installed. But what are you hearing as far as other provinces are concerned? The minister this week talking about eThekwini and Gqeberha. These are municipalities in KZN and the Eastern Cape province. When are those upgrades there, or that maintenance work that needs to be carried out, when is that going to hit those provinces? Do you know anything from your side?
What I can tell you, Cole, is that I've had confirmation from the Department of Health that the minister will be going on what we would call maybe a road trip to see for himself what is actually happening on the ground. He, during his press briefing earlier this week, was saying that certainly from what he understands, the work has already begun, but he wants to assess how far that work is and what still needs to be done and what interventions national. By national, it will be his department, and he would then have to also consult with Treasury to see if there's any financial boosts that are needed. He is going to Limpopo first later this week. We have received word from the Department of Health to go see in Limpopo what the situation is, and then from there, after having assessed and engaged with the health practitioners and the worst affected areas, he will then go on a road trip across the country, including the Gqeberha municipality that you've mentioned in the Eastern Cape, KZN. Free State will also get a look into, and as well as the Western Cape. So we will be closely monitoring that situation. In fact, Newzroom Afrika has been given an invitation to come along with the minister. This will be later this week. I assume it will be by Friday the latest, although we will keep you posted with that one, and we will be bringing you that intervention as and when it happens, when the minister sees for himself.
Senior reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli keeping a close eye on the maintenance work that was being carried out in the water pipelines here in the province of Gauteng. It does seem that we are on safe ground. Water interruptions hopefully are going to be a thing of the past. We pray, at least for the next couple of years.